is opening weekend in the American. Victories finally starting to count towards a conference title in 2018 this fall. We're back at Moody Coliseum to begin our coverage on the American Digital Network. These SMU Mustangs victorious against UConn in 4 back on Friday. They are 1-0, and they welcome to town the Owls of Temple, who picked up a 5-set thriller comeback victory against Houston just 2 nights ago. One of these two teams will be 2-0 atop the American standings after this opening weekend, as we welcome you in on the American Digital Network at Moody Coliseum. Lincoln Rose along with the great Adam Johnson. And Adam, no stranger to seeing these two teams in contention for title. In fact, the first 5 years of the American, SMU's never finished worse than 5th. But after you've had that senior-laden squad for the past 2 years, a lot of turnover, and both teams now a bit of a youth movement.
Definitely the youth. Youth can be a positive and it can be a negative. And hopefully for both teams coming into this match, it's going to be a positive, getting the first match over, over the hump, and now they're on to their second match.
Take a look at the keys to the matchup. First up, how do these Owls find a second straight road victory to improve to 2-0 in the American?
Well, again, it goes to the youth. The seniors in the group have to help out the freshmen. The freshmen have to not be so nervous playing in an away match. They need to produce and make it easy on themselves.
There's that balanced attack, so much talent around the court, but no one single player they'll be relying on. And then for SMU, it's a homestand. You want to start off 2-0 as a result, and I know you have your eye on a couple of aspects.
Well, and they've got to definitely, pass the ball. And as any coach will tell you, passing is key, and it's key to an offense. You have a great pass, you have a great system running.
Take a look at some of the key players in our matchup. Appropriately, Temple, so many international players on this roster. We have our eye on Eva Diak.
Eva Diak, grad student, lots of experience. She's going to be helping out those young players. We were talking about second team all-conference last year, looking to move up to first team. 15 kills, 7 digs, 5 blocks, 2 assists versus Utah. The thing that really stands out to me as a middle blocker, we don't expect them to do so much in the back row, and 7 digs and 2 assists in the front row is great.
Meanwhile, you talk about what you do have returning for SMU. Brittany Adams last year all-conference.
Another senior, second team all-conference, 17, again, trying to move up the ladder into first team. Had a double-double against Abilene Christian earlier this season. 15 kills, 18 digs. It's not the double-double that I'm used to, but hey, it'll work.
Owls and Mustangs, one of them will be 2-0 by the end of today.
Discovery. It can come from any direction, in places new and familiar, but often starts from within.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Mustangs just about set to go again. They were able to handle UConn in 4 sets back on Friday to delight the fans here at Moody Coliseum. They have the benefit of playing their first 2 matches at home here in conference play. Great crowd on hand as Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson back with you here on the American Digital Network. Thrilled to send it courtside with our sideline reporter today, Ashton Benford. Ashton?
Hi fans, thanks for tuning in today. Make sure you get on our Facebook page on American Digital Network. We're going to have tons of questions, tons of polls. Make sure you throw in that hashtag, guys. Where are you watching from today?
Yeah, Ashton, thank you very much. Very interactive broadcast today. We'll have various questions for you. And that first question she asked, where are you watching from, I think today could be more interesting because Temple, as an international university, has attracted a lot of international student athletes, and certainly that's the case with this year's roster.
Well, they're literally listening from all around the world, and it's going to be it's interesting to see how social media has taken over in this case volleyball this year and in the future, and just to see what it can do to expose everybody.
But again, really the thought of, since it is such an international campus, and coach reminding us, look, the international airport right there makes it so easy for students to get in and out of the country, that it really has been a recruiting tool for Temple, and it just makes sense that this roster has so many players from outside of the United States. We talked about it briefly, the youth. Both these programs have high expectations year in, year out. There you see Bakir and the stamp that he has put on this program now in 8 years at the helm. Of course, talking to his top assistant, Akiko Hatakeyama. But for Bakir, you look at his numbers so far, what he has done with this program, and the expectations, those 4 straight 20-win seasons, they believe they can still do that even this year, despite the youth.
Well, and you have to believe that, and again, like I said earlier, youth is good and bad, and in a lot of cases, youth is positive, brings a lot of new energy to a program.
But so many similarities between these two programs. You talk about SMU, the largest recruiting class. They've signed 7 of their players a year ago were talk about high school homecoming.
High school homecoming is absolutely right, and let's see how they all start out here.
Opening serve as Temple in the white tops. SMU with the opening point with that presence in the middle.
And Lexi Norman getting up strong right off the bat. Perfect pass. When you're passing perfect, you can run 3 different plays, actually 4 nowadays, but that's what the key that you want to do. You start from the middle of the court, open it up.
Adams with the serve as a pass here from Oshchu. Adams all by herself on the back row, able to handle that real estate. Swing from the left side into the block. They'll say it's off the pin, and Temple has leveled us at 1 apiece here in the opening set.
And Ryan Palmieri on the left side for SMU, trying to go down the line, just messing with Mr. Antenna, and he doesn't like to be messed with sometimes.
And that'll set up the service here from our libero. Congratulations to Mia Hirakuji. She did pick up her 1,000th career dig on Friday night's victory against Houston when they needed 5 sets to come back. Really, how this match is going to play out is anybody's guess. Both these teams do have the confidence with the victories on Friday, do have high expectations this year. They continue to be in the top half of the American, but both coaches were pretty frank when I asked them how much of a grasp do you have on what everybody else in the conference is doing. Look, in the past when they knew they had their seniors and their leaders in place, they could keep an eye out on the rest of the landscape. This is a year they've had to really keep extra attention on their own roster and just truly take it the cliche, 1 match at a time.
Well, and when we spoke to them, they both said, hey, we're not really thinking about anybody else but ourselves right now. And that's very important getting off the bat, because you do have time to really prepare for any team. You just have to focus on the things that you need to do to prepare.
Mustangs off the block. Going up trying to shut that down was Eva Dayok, but they get it past the now graduate student of Temple. As you see, coming off will be Patterson. After her teammate able to put that away, and Palmieri, one of those 7 freshmen. We'll see 4 to 5 of them contribute today for SMU.
Palmieri, a freshman from Austin, Texas, Vandergrift High School.
A couple of players from the capital city for SMU this year. And a touch before going out. And it stays tight here in this opening set, as giving a breather will be İrem Oshchu. Oshchu from Turkey, but a transfer from UNC Charlotte, was already in the States.
I don't know that I'd like to get on a 7-hour flight to come over all the time, but hey, you know, if that works for him.
Down the middle, well set up, but a great dig on the back row for the Owls, keeping this point alive, and a nice rally developing here. From the left side, the swing from the right hand coming from Westfield. They'll go away from Westfield this time and find success off that right swing of Dayok.
And there's been some really good defensive moves, defensive plays by SMU. Montana Watts getting a dig in there. Brittany Adams also getting in there and getting ready to hit a pipe on that play.
So Temple has found an advantage here in this opening set. Of course, first to 25, must win by 2. A double block up front for the Mustangs prevails for the moment. They cannot get it over on the final effort, though, and it's 5-3, a little cushion now for the Owls.
Yeah, Marin Kennedy up there at the net for SMU. Playing some quick ball up there, quick reflexes off that to keep the ball alive, but just couldn't get that ball over the net.
Both these programs are coming off another postseason berth last year with the return of the NIVC, the National Invitational Volleyball Championship. Rewarding both these programs for their regular seasons a year ago. Of course, Wichita State, what a debut for the Shockers last year as members of this conference. And Adam, I know even with the youth, you're impressive of some of the hard swings we've seen early on.
Well, and the defense. I mean, you have Marin Kennedy, just nobody up in the middle, just bombing, you know, against a Hannah Vandegrift in the back row, digging it up like it was nothing. And sometimes you just look at each other and yawn.
Rachel Wolf, a former club national champion, with the put away on that last point. She's another one of these freshmen. She's from Frisco, just up the road from here in Dallas.
Another great dig by Bria Merchant in the back row for SMU.
Right side, tapped it to the back row. Owls with one more swing. Dayok. And they will say a pancake from the Mustangs will keep this point alive. And instead of the kinder, gentler approach, just imposing her will, ultimately the kill for Westfield.
Yeah, Dana Westfield on the outside, just coming in. One-on-one is what you want as an attacker, and she just unleashed this angle to no avail for SMU.
Chatting with Ashton back and forth, I know she was really impressed with the size that Temple had. Just coming off the bus, it looked like a Division I program.
Yeah, and Dayok going back to serve right here, and there's that jump serve float that we talked about, and comes up with an ace.
So Dayok with the serve, mentioned already has her degree as the Croatian delivers. A little back set down the line, and the Mustangs able to tool the block.
And that's exactly what you want to try and do on that little slide play right there. If you can't get that angle shot, hit it right off the block and out of bounds.
Our officials are going to come together. Let's see if that prevails.
Oh, okay. I know that up official.
Another look.
Oh,
and that can't be what's in doubt.
Definitely looked like it was off the block there. Eva Linden on the right side there.
Yeah, they do confirm the call. And what we saw, obviously a quick review for a reason. Mustangs pull back within 2 after that last point. And a nice cross-court shot. Mustangs have rattled off now 2 in a row as chiming back in Rachel Wolf. In all these programs at SMU, such a great recruiting base just in their backyard alone in the Dallas and surrounding Metroplex.
That's your typical freshman shot right there. Just a crush angle.
One day. Over the block. Adams denied. And the Owls utilize the defense, the tandem of Gunevig along with Vandegrift. You have a German combining with a young lady from the Commonwealth of Virginia.
See, we can all get along in the world.
Right. It's a model UN representing the Owls. Into the tape. That'll be a 4-hit violation on SMU.
Yeah, that one's not going to go over the net by Rachel Wolf. She's had some great looks. That one just a little bit off the net to hit that ball.
Wolf won a couple of Mustangs who have claimed a club national title. And SMU starting to find a bit of a rhythm, but have not been able to close this early gap completely against Temple.
And it was great to see that they're going right back to the freshman, Rachel Wolf, just after she hit that last one in the net, just showing confidence in these freshmen.
The patience this year and the confidence invested in these freshmen, imagine how that's going to pay off over the next 3 years. And the Owls just can't get organized.
Kendall Patterson with a great serve right there, just getting the Owls in trouble a little bit.
Patterson, preseason all-conference for the Mustangs in the American. A former state champion, went to Hebron High School in the Dallas area. And, of course, once again, a captain for SMU. And a violation against the Owls. So we're even here in this opening set now, as Temple enjoying an early advantage against SMU. Mentioned the Mustangs, those back-to-back American titles, and the first 5 years as members of the American have never finished worse than second, including a tie for second last year with Temple. Behind the newcomer Wichita State. Adams towards the block, able to squeeze it between the net and the pair of Owls.
And Brittany Adams, they're really going to be looking at her today to basically get on her back. As you can see her just squeezing this ball right between the block. Temple just can't seal that Dana Westfield on the outside there.
Nice effort to keep it alive, but nobody there to continue. A lost cause after Tyler Lindgren went down to dig that one up.
And that's something that a coach just does not like to see when there's a great dig and the ball lands right in the middle of everybody with not one person making a move for it.
And again, that pass too heavy, carries over. And a poor angle as Ostju will send it into the net, and SMU all of a sudden on a run here in this first set.
And that's the kind of play right there that Ostju gets. It's not a great set. She's got to basically keep that ball in play, let her team live another point.
Assistant coach Jason Tanaka gives the service instruction. And again, a powerful swing, and what a force she is going to be over there on that right side. So a timeout by the Owls, their largest deficit on the road here today in this first set, as SMU with a 15-9 advantage now. So your thoughts on the early action, a back and forth match here. I know you're impressed from the youth of SMU. Hey, let's check back in with Ashton courtside.
Hey fans, we want to thank you so much for joining us on the American Digital Network Plus. We see those comments coming in. Naples, Florida, Memphis, Tennessee. Hey guys, thanks for the hashtag. But we want to know who you're rooting for. Are you going for the Owls? Or are you going for the Mustangs? Thanks so much for joining us, and keep engaged, fans.
Yeah, look forward to hearing from the fans all season long, and particularly today, our first of 3 volleyball matches here on the ADN. And, you know, for the first time, let's remind fans, if they did not see the release, there's something more on the line than just a title this year. The team that wins the regular season championship each year from the American has claimed the automatic bid of the NCAA tournament. But this year, you're also going to win the right to host, potentially, the new conference tournament that will start up next year. Obviously, Wichita State would love to have it at home. And you talk about what Lisa Siebert has done, 23 years. That happens to coincide with all 23 years that SMU has had volleyball on campus.
And you definitely, if you're going to have a tournament, you definitely like to have a home court advantage. That's for sure.
So again, they will add that conference tournament next year. As the Owls, well, Lisa played it well. I'm not sure if that was a 4-hit violation. But ultimately, the Owls, that's what you want to see coming out of a timeout.
You definitely do, and I'm just like Coach Seifert right there. I'll try and play it up if they can. If they don't see it, they don't see it.
I want to see her back shoulder roll. They send it down the line, into the block. And was it in or out? It'll carry wide, and Temple now with back-to-back points.
Papazuglo on the left side there, just tooling the block and out of bounds. You can see that Mustangs just trying to take that angle away, just couldn't redirect that ball into the court.
Yeah, she went right into Lexi Nordman on that previous point, the 6'1" middle blocker. You're looking at Montana Watts wearing that libero top. If I let you guess, you'd probably guess she's from the Dallas area, and you'd be correct. From McKinney, Texas. Adams floats one to the back row. They try to return it back over to Adams. Her service will continue as it's long. The error from the Owls will help SMU inch back ahead with this opening set, up by 3. Let me correct things, 15-11 in this opening set, and able to squeeze it past the block. This should be a fun day here between Temple and SMU. Both still a few kinks to work out at the start of this season.
It's definitely early.
And that ball will carry wide. So Montana Watts will have the serve. Now in her second year as the libero, the defensive leader for this SMU squad. Of course, Morgan Heiss, your libero of the year, preceding her a couple years ago. She had big shoes to fill, was able to step up, lead SMU to a 21-win season last year. From the left side.
Oh, what a dig.
Great effort, we mentioned, by Hirakuji. Over 1,000 digs in her career.
And she almost had 1,001 right there. Unfortunately, just didn't quite get underneath that ball enough.
And from one libero to the other, Watts continues her serve. Mentioned Watts went to McKinney Boyd High School. Her teammate Parker Shepard, of course, over at Cincinnati and that talented program. From the left pin. And able to find an angle to keep it in.
Papazugo right down the line, just past the SMU block.
And Katerina Papazoglou. Papazoglou out of Greece.
That's one place I haven't been.
No?
Nope.
You've been in a fraternity house, right?
Yes, same thing.
Maybe not. Defense up front paying off as SMU will capture the point, and they are getting closer and closer to potentially claiming this opening set here at home.
Yeah, and Marin Kennedy getting up on the block right here along with Eva Linden, and just putting the clamps on Temple on that one.
Both these teams in action back on Friday. SMU here at home, the 4-set victory over UConn. Temple looked like they were going to drop the opener at Houston, but a great comeback, forced a 5th set, and were able to claim that victory on the road. And they also had the Temple women's soccer program in town to cheer them on. They had a nice fan base.
Papazoglou just going high over tip after she's been bombing every ball. Caught SMU a little off guard on that one.
Right down the line, able to keep it playable. One more touch coming up. Free ball, and that one right down Broadway from Iram Oschu.
Yeah, and that was a unfortunate play for the Mustangs right there. Palmieri, a free ball pass, just passing it right over the net. Temple taking advantage of that, putting it down for the point.
And just carries long. Well, Temple not letting the Mustangs run away with it. We'll have another timeout here in this opening set. SMU's lead is down to 2. We'll step aside here on ADN. Critical first set still up for grabs.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health.
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Look into Bakir's huddle with his Owls, trying to wrap up a road trip, potentially starting conference play on the road and claiming victories in both. They are holding their own, are the Owls, here in Dallas in our opening set. Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson, Ashton Benford on the sidelines as well here today on ADN. Glad to have you with us. And of course, not just having you with us, but having you be a part of the broadcast with those of you chiming in the comments on Facebook and responding to various questions we'll have for you throughout the afternoon. I know we have some family members who couldn't be here in person, including up in Omaha. There's a little bit of quality volleyball to be seen in the state of Nebraska these days, right?
There's a little bit, definitely, for sure.
SMU sees its lead now trimmed to a pair, as the most recent kill, courtesy of Dayoc.
From the right side, nice little slide move off of the 1 foot approach and through the block.
And don't you know it, as a result, Dayoc with the serve. Back set, they love going to that right side. A lot of confidence already. They'll go across the opposite pin to Adams. She's denied up front. We'll get a second chance here.
Great dig by Bria Merchant to keep the ball alive.
And how about that roller? Just up and over the block, and a crafty response from Ostju.
And Ostju must have been looking a little bit earlier to see a little bit, the same shot, just this is almost twice in a row. Papazugalo hitting one right before that.
And a service error will give SMU its next point. Aaron Kennedy set for the serve. 6'3", redshirt sophomore.
6'3"?
And her service will be cut short. As Temple up front, you're looking at Carla Gunevig. Modest 6'2", the senior out of Germany.
And those, you know, that great slide play, that just seems to give a lot of teams trouble.
Well, they got Temple to miss time. It's block effort up front. And SMU takes advantage of crafty response.
A little bit of a tight pass there for SMU, but Lexi Norman up, putting that ball down, making it look easy.
Well, we are in crunch time here. SMU potentially 4 points away from an opening set victory. Into the block, it'll carry wide, and the break goes the way of SMU. And smiles there on the right side for Eva Linden. Linden is one of 7 daughters in that family.
I wonder what the dad did back
That means
in the day.
you have a front row, a back row, and a sub.
And they can all play at the same time almost if you got a DS going, or a libero. One of them's libero.
As the Mustangs now capitalize on a couple of miscues from Temple, and Temple will call a timeout. You are so close to seeing a first set slip away, and yet it's still within grasp if you can right the ship here in time.
It all starts with the pass right here, and that's exactly what the coach is telling their team right now. Just got to settle down and get this first pass.
Talking to both coaches during the week, Lisa Sievert emphasized, look, you win matches early in each point with the passing, with the serving. And she's hoping they can close out these next 2 points.
Well, that's one good thing that I like seeing that hasn't changed over the years for volleyball is passing. You know, defense and ball control is gonna win games, and at least they're still thinking that way with all these rule changes and whatnot. But that's where they got to put their emphasis on.
You see the various accolades and highlights throughout her career. Really, for the past decade, she has felt she has had this program in a position to be a contender for conference championships, and has that as the expectation.
Oh, and going into any season, you have to have that expectation. She said the same thing when we were chatting. You know, her goal is to win conference and go as deep into the NCAA tournament as possible. And I think if you're not thinking that, you're never going to get over the hump.
They went to the NCAA tournament most recently 2015 and 2016 as your back-to-back champions in the American. Coming in as runner-up last year. So Temple called the timeout. SMU finds the block and finds the hardwood just inside the line. And it is set point now for the Mustangs at home.
Well, Lexi Norman really reaching into the angle on this one, just denying Temple that last point.
Nordman, the Michigan native. Grandpa Bob Nordman played in the NBA for 5 years. Dad played some college ball as well. As the Owls will hold off set point for the moment, but even with a service error here, could gift it over to the Mustangs.
That's one of the new rules that I don't like. You know, you can miss a serve and give up the game.
New being, about 15, 20 years now.
I guess so.
Rally scoring kicking in the early 2000s, if I recall correctly. As this one will carry wide, back-to-back points for Temple, but it is still set point for SMU.
On a side note, the AVP has kind of brought in some new rules where when it does get to match point, it then turns into side-out scoring.
How much sand did you find in all of your gym bags after all those years?
In my bed, you name it, it was all over the place.
SMU looking for that elusive 25th point, and the Mustangs will take set number 1 in this Sunday clash with Temple. 25-21. A back and forth opening frame. Each team had its share of runs. But SMU now with the inside track to possibly starting off 2-0 in the American. Second set in Dallas when we return on the American Digital Network.
In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power 6 conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that proved we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power 6 conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination.
Taking a look back in the SMU huddle as we check back in with Ashton courtside.
Hi, welcome back, fans. I just want to take a moment here at the American Digital Network, and we want to congratulate 2 coaches who have met the 100-win club. Congratulations to Coach Grunwald and Coach Draper over at UConn and USF. They hit their 100th win, you guys, so congratulations to them. And fans, keep interacting online. We want to know who you're rooting for, where you're from. Don't forget your hashtags.
A lot of accomplished coaches in this league, even if they haven't been with their programs for 23 years like Lisa has. But yeah, again, congratulations up there in stores to Chris, as well as Courtney over at USF. So she took a timeout right before, I think, the 24th point, wanting to make sure they could close things out. Temple did respond, but the Mustangs were able to weather that storm and prevent the comeback.
Well, and that's what you want to do. And now, after you've won that first game, you want to put the pedal to the metal. You don't want to let Temple play with you. You want to be able to get in on this second game right away and just start where you finished.
Fans still chiming in the comments. Again, predictably with Bakir's squad, a lot of international viewers, including we see Germany chiming in predictably. Second set now, and this will be a big one for Temple. They fell behind early against Houston. To ask them to come back twice this weekend here in the state of Texas, a tall task.
Well, and when you go out on the road, especially early in the season, if you can squeak one away like they did Friday, that's almost like a victory. That is a victory, of course, but to finally get a couple on the road, getting into your home court, and then moving forward from there, that's kind of what you're hoping for.
And it's not just parents, we've got some grandparents tuning in as well. I remember just trying to teach my grandmother how to use Yahoo email.
But I had to teach my dad how to use his phone. He's like, can you call me? And I called him, and it rang, and he said, how'd you do that? I go, well, I turned it on. He goes, well, it has to be on. It just doesn't turn on when someone calls. I go, no. He goes, well, what about the battery? It drains. I go, that's what the charging cord's for.
I'm thrilled to have the Heim family tuning in as this one getting us started here. The opening point of set number 2. Adams sends one to the back row, able to keep it alive. Down the middle, a little too hot to handle. And the Mustangs will claim the opening point. Nice effort up front from Nordman.
Yeah, Norman not getting a great set on that one. Just finding some open spot and pushing it just past the hands of Hirakuji.
This is a SMU squad, remember, graduating all-conference standout Katie Hegarty as well as Lauren Mills last year. Those are their big losses. You talk about nice adjustment up front. Block coming through, and Nordman again factoring in.
Yeah, Norman really reaching. She's really getting over, penetrating over the net, really reaching into that angle, taking that ball away from Temple.
Adams. Left pin, cross-court shot is just long. There's a discrepancy there, but they will confirm the call. It carries just long from Papazoglu.
It was definitely out. I could see it from here.
They go back to that left pin, off the block. Adams. And a great effort to keep this rally going by Temple. Looking for their first point of this set. Right down the middle, and it continues for SMU. And no, they say it's long. So 3-1, Temple on the board.
Yeah, Norman just getting up on that quick set, and they're really working the middle right now, which is great. But Norman just missing that one about a few inches out of bounds.
Hirakuji with the serve, the Hawaiian. Temple's got a few Hawaiians. We will not see Salanoa. She is out, the freshman from Honolulu, who happened to go to the same high school as Barack Obama. Not the same time, I'm told.
Not the same time.
But it is amazing how many Division I volleyball players come out of the Punahou school in Honolulu.
And they're very proud of their school. I happen to have one played with a fighting dolphin, as they are known as.
So Temple now with the last 2 points here in this second set. And Nordman continues to find success right there in the middle. Nothing fancy.
Again, pump the middle as much as possible. Then you're going to start opening up the court. The game is really played from the middle of the court out. I don't know if a lot of spectators are aware of that, because these days the passing isn't as good as it has been in the past, and therefore the set's having to go outside. So everybody thinks we need these big attackers, which you do on the outside. But I think that in the last 15-20 years we've gotten away from our passing in volleyball.
Well, and we were talking to the coaches during the week, and you brought up a similarity in both teams. Their hitting percentages to start this year have been lower than you would hope, and you immediately speculated, does that start with the passing?
And that's exactly what it does, because if you're being set, if you're out of system and you have to set the ball outside, you're always, even your best hitter is always going up against 2 blockers, and they know where you're going. So it's an easy coverage, if you will.
Temple has taken 4 of the last 5 points now. Here's Avery Salvador, another Hawaiian from the Punahou school. I won't pretend her flight home is much shorter than the folks going over to Europe. And we say hi to the Salvador family tuning in.
Yeah, that's a long flight right there.
And SMU inches back ahead, 5-4. And a mistake over the net. And they're going to return the favor with the violation.
Yeah, they're calling a back row block on Kendall Patterson there. When you're in the back row, you have to stay below the plane of the net.
Now, great effort again from Hirakuji with a trademark dig. Both liberos getting in on the action. Adams on that back row. 6th rotation player. Been a big factor for them. And SMU now, again, another point here at home after claiming that opening set.
Palmieri on the left side, crushing it down the line, but again, there's a lot, drawing the block into the net, scoring the point, but great digs in the back row of both teams.
Lily Heim, a freshman setter, seeing time because of this 6-2 that SMU likes to run.
Great run down there by Brittany Adams.
And a dump up front. Crafty play from Hannah Vandegrift. She is one of the elder statesmen for Temple, the senior out of Leesburg, Virginia.
And that's the one that gives a coach gray hairs right there. That ball's got to come up. SMU's tried that a few times. Temple's been all over that.
Adams with the serve receive. Into the net. Able to save the point, but not for long. Well, Nordman's understudy comes through this time. Marin Kennedy. We talked about the 6'3" redshirt sophomore up front.
Really don't have to jump that high when you're 6'3". Just put that ball down real quick.
As the serve from Bria Merchant, a freshman from Houston. She was the defense player of the year in her district last year, a former national champion as a libero. Versatile player. And Adams comes flying in, but the Owls have the answer. And instead, they pick on the back row. And it pays off for Temple.
I really like the defense for both teams. They're really picking up a lot of plays, giving them a second and third opportunity to score a point.
Well, just like our first set, this one starts off tight. And nothing that Hirakuji could do there with that screamer coming at her.
Rachel Wolf just unleashing down the line from the right side, finding an open space right around the block and down for a point.
Able to squeeze it inside the antenna. Oh, Mustangs thought for a moment they might have had an ace, and instead the Owls come out with a fortunate point.
That's the one that's scratching the head of the coaches right there. That should be a free ball, score point easily for SMU.
Is that where the youth factors in?
I think it's, honestly, I don't know. I was brought up, all the coaches that I ever had in indoor volleyball were all Americans or gold medalists. So we, and that it is what it is, but we're picking that ball up all day. We're looking at, you're seeing a lot of kids these days setting over on 2, and the ball's going down because the defense is not watching the setter.
Nordman that time controls the net. In Lincoln Rose with Adam Johnson. AJ, of course, a great indoor career before shifting out to the beach. A few accolades along the way. SMU now with a 2-point advantage here in the second set after claiming the first frame. Hirakuji with the pass. Up to Adams. And that led her towards the net. She put all of her momentum behind it, able to send the cross-court shot for the kill.
Yeah, and that Brittany Adams, she found what we call the coffin corner deep in the corner. That's a hard ball to get right there. Just squeaking it in between the block and down. Doesn't get much closer to the line in the corner there.
Brittany, good lineage. Her dad, Kevin, played football at New Mexico. Mom, Yvonne, played women's basketball at A&M. Temple's going to call a timeout. This had been a back-and-forth seesaw battle again in the second set, but the Mustangs on another run, up by 4. We step aside in Dallas. You're watching live coverage of American volleyball on the American Digital Network.
Discovery. It can come from any direction, in places new and familiar, but often starts from within.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Back inside Moody Coliseum. We'll be here a few times during women's basketball season as well. The joint home of volleyball as well as both Mustangs hoops programs. Right now, SMU kicking off its American schedule this weekend, as is Temple. And once the fall sports got started, we had all these dates circled on our calendar when conference play would finally get underway, and it's happening both for volleyball and soccer right now. It's an exciting time. All that work you put in the offseason, and especially in non-conference, hoping it'll start to lead to some victories in the standings when it matters the most now. Good communication, cross-court shot. Precision from Papazoglu.
Papazoglu, I mean, that's an angle shot right there. That's about 11-foot line. Doesn't get much better than that.
Katarina's been impressive. They'll go the opposite way this time. And Temple making the most of its timeout. Again, that time, Dayock.
Hitting this nice slide right here in between the block. Kendall Patterson right there, just couldn't handle that ball.
Adams will pull the point back for the Mustangs. Preseason all-conference, Brittany Adams. Last year, all-American conference as well.
Great vision to be able to turn that ball down the line.
Both Nordman and Linden up at the net right now. That time they went with Paul Mary. From the right side, and the kill from Eva Linden. From up in the Great Northwest from Milton, Washington. Started her career at Portland State before coming to SMU. Mentioned has 6 sisters.
That would be crazy.
As the Owls with the response. Yeah, one way or the other, whether it's all boys or all girls.
It would be much easier if it was, I mean, let's be honest here. It'd be much easier if it were all boys.
I have a feeling different people have had different experiences.
Oh, that's true. I'm very happy to have one of each, and that's good enough.
14-12 SMU right now. Right into that block led by Nordman. Talk about how dedicated these athletes are as that one is in. We've heard from the Nordman family here in our Facebook comments as well. Specifically, Mom Sherry's still back at home in Michigan, but her dad caught an early morning flight this morning to Dallas. That's the benefit. SMU has an airport just right down the street from campus.
I mean, right down the street. That's pretty nice.
This start time of this match about a week ago was moved up an hour, so hopefully he had already figured out his travel. As this one rolled right over the block, in a nice response for Temple now up front from Papazoglu.
Papazoglu really being able to move the ball around, which is what you want out of any of your hitters. Nice little roll shots, being able to crush the ball down the line or angle. She's got it all right now.
Mentioned Katarina, a sophomore out of Greece. And an ace right in front of Adams.
Nice little jump float they've got there. Like I said, that's a tough little serve right there. That thing is moving. You never know if it's going left or right until sometimes the bottom drops out of it.
The service for Katarina continues right down the middle. And Temple has tied it up 15 apiece. And no, a violation.
Uh-oh.
And that's basically a 2-point swing.
Well, the referee right there. You've got two of them. Hard to see it from our angle. This might be a better angle right here. Oh, yeah, definitely. Just carried her hand right into the net.
An easy call when it's all said and done.
And when you have instant replay like this.
Replay. So instead of it being even now, 1 point later, they're down by 3.
And Ostju on the left side again, not getting a great approach on that ball. Just needs to keep that ball in play. Give your defense another opportunity.
Inheim out of Omaha, Nebraska, which recently hosted the national championship. And of course, over in Lincoln, they've done pretty well with their volleyball program over the years.
Ostju just coming back on this one, saying, I made a mistake. I'm making up for it right here. Just burying this ball past the block of Wolf.
Service error, though, will give that point right back.
A lot of momentum in this game so far.
Well, we saw Temple establish a nice lead in that first set, only to see it slip away. SMU, for the most part, has had the advantage here. We were briefly tied. And how about another ace for SMU?
And the referee's going to call lift on that second ball, that second attempt on the ball. You can see right now Temple is a little deflated after that net call.
Yeah, that's one of those you can't let 1 point turn into 2, let alone 3 or 4.
Great defense by Temple.
Nice build up for SMU. Adams from behind the attack line. And a fastball, and again, a ruling going against Temple. Ostju thought that she had a pretty highlight right there.
And she's going to be awarded a yellow card, I believe. We didn't get to see it, but I saw the referee pulling out of his pocket something. And usually that's a yellow card unless something else has gone down.
Yeah, for the dissent. Animated.
Now, you can't see that young lady here. Let me give you this. Well, we don't know. Maybe he didn't give it to her.
Yeah, I had looked away. So SMU right now, 3-point lead on Temple, 19-16 inside Moody Coliseum. Glad to have you with us. Obviously, SMU and Temple have been teams to watch in recent years here in the American. But last year, they added a school, and it was the ladies up there in Wichita, Kansas, who swept their way to the title. Let's check in again courtside with Ashton Benford. Ashton?
Hey, fans. We're keeping up with you on Facebook. I see grandparents of Lily Heim of SMU out in Omaha, Nebraska. Lexi Norman's dad made it all the way from DeWitt, Michigan this morning. How crazy is that? Got some supportive parents out here. We also want to say hello out in Germany to the Albans. And just like Lincoln mentioned earlier, we've also got some Temple supporters out in Hawaii. Keep us engaged, fans. We're really enjoying it. Thanks for tuning in on the American Digital Network. Back to you in Lincoln.
Yeah, that's the great thing about having these broadcasts on Facebook. Makes it that much easier to stay in touch with everybody, and I know the American has made it a priority to make access to these broadcasts as easy as possible for fans to tune in and support the student athletes that they've invested so much time in. As a service error from Temple coming out of the break, and Mustang country would love to see a 2-0 lead after this set. So Marin Kennedy. And they will say that one just long.
Yeah, Brittany Adams just getting a little bit underneath that ball right there and not quite getting all of it and just hitting it long.
And she went to a small private school in Austin, St. Stephen's, where they were a 3-time state champion here in Texas. And into the net, just a bit aggressive from Ostju.
I think that's a great play right there that's not utilized as much as as we call it, the pipe out of the back row. It seems like it's more out of system than it is in system. I'd love to see it more on the in system side, and Oshie really going for it right there, but unfortunately failed short going into the net.
Captain Patterson with the serve. A free ball for Adams makes him pay. A big grin for Brittany.
Yeah, well, Lexi Norman up on the block right there, and that ball came over, and you know, here you see Brittany Adams really quick to the net to get back to the net and put that ball back down for the point.
On the right side, over that block. Finally sitting back over was Watts, the libero. And this time with the dig. Temple down by 5, will trim it to 4 after playing it off the block. Good look up front. Papazoglu, again, the 6'1" outside hitter for the Owls. And the Owls unable to put one away right there at the net. They'll get another chance.
Great dig by Patterson in the back row.
A double hit called on SMU. SMU just 3 points away. Temple needs a run here late in the second set. Remember, we don't have that traditional intermission anymore between sets 2 and 3. Both teams will stay in the gym, and we'll have a chance to hear from both head coaches to get their thoughts on today's match so far.
You mean they don't get a 20-minute break anymore? I mean, my goodness, they're working so hard out there.
We used to have that long intermission after set 2, regardless of whether it was 1-1 or 2-0. And SMU is getting closer and closer to taking this second set.
Yeah, Norman can really feel it now. Anytime that ball is in the net, she's really patrolling that net. She's the general up there. Just anything's coming over, she's putting it back.
Owls will call a timeout here in crunch time, as they drop a close first set, and as close as these two teams have been, it's been the SMU Mustangs so far in this one. One of these two teams will be a perfect 2-0 in the American by the end of today.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Well, right now the Owls and Jim Grimshaw, one of the many freshmen on both sides of the net today, are staring at potentially an 0-2 start in this match, with Adams and the Mustangs having the serve, just 2 points away from closing out set number 2. Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson with you, Ashton Benford on the sidelines. Keeping up with those of you chiming in the comments on Facebook. Thrilled to have you with us here to begin our coverage on the American Digital Network. Do the Owls have another comeback this weekend in them? Went 5 in Houston as they would topple the Cougars, and that will help after the error from SMU.
Yeah, Palmieri just getting underneath that ball, hitting it hard. Looked like she was going after the block, and just missing it long.
Serve from Salvador.
Big point right here.
And no set point available just yet for SMU, as the kill from Dayak.
Dayak really has this slide move wired, and you can see her just landing and just pushing herself away, knowing that it went down.
So Salvador continues her serve. Down the middle. Owls stay composed and get it back over. Back to Nordman, and she's 0 for 2.
Third time's charm.
They go to Adams on the back row. And Temple has leveled this set.
And I don't know if there's some water over there, or if it's maybe just the way she's jumping, but Dayoc, this is the second time she's fallen down on that set. Been very successful with them.
So now a chance to possibly serve for a set point if the Owls can claim this 24th point. And it will be Temple trying to level this at 1 set apiece. Wow. SMU had really started to pull away, and now it's the Mustangs using a timeout. Big moment here. What a difference between 2 sets to none as opposed to heading into set 3 dead even. So you see the first, it's up to the players, and this is where you miss having some of those veteran leaders who have graduated the last 2 years for the Mustangs when the student athletes lead their own huddle. Now both coaches on the 2 benches will step in with some instructions that they've gone over with their staff. A critical moment coming up.
Yeah, SMU definitely just starts with a pass. That's probably exactly what they're saying out there. Smooth pass, it's going to be a side out, tie it up, and move forward. 1 point at a time, really 1 play at a time. And again, I keep on going back to pass, so we'll see how they do coming after this timeout.
The universal language of volleyball being spoken in that huddle. A few last second words between Hannah Vandegrift and Ren Sefra. Well, they trust they've done everything they can. It's now up to the student athletes. Temple with set point.
Oh my.
And there it goes.
Now,
is that what they were discussing?
That was what they were discussing right there. Now, going back to my days, even in high school, if you miss a game point, match point, or a serve after a timeout, you get pulled right away, and we knew that.
SMU now not serving for set point yet. Owls can reclaim the opportunity. And now it's the Mustangs in extra points with a chance to go up 2-0.
And how quickly the tide changes, and you know, Marion Kennedy putting this ball down quickly, but you know, when you miss a game point serve, it just drains the team, just the energy right then and there, and that you have to come back. But as we saw, Marion just putting that ball down, saying you're not coming back yet.
And as luck has it, you have a senior back to serve for SMU in Montana Watts. Adams keeps it alive. And they will play it off the block. The Mustangs survive a set point, and on their first opportunity will take set number 2. SMU up 2 sets to none will have a chance to close it out in 3. We're going to have a chance to hear from the coaches here in just a moment. What a turn in momentum.
Well, and you talk about momentum. I mean, you're licking your chops serving game point, and your server serves it out. Now you're on the defense, and then one quick point right there, you're more on the defense, and it really gets into the mental part of the game.
SMU called a timeout facing set point against Temple. Temple came out to serve and had the service error. And you see the Owls are going to retreat briefly for a locker room chat. But in a moment, we'll have a chance to check in with Ashton and hear from the coaches on both sides of this break. Great crowd on a Sunday afternoon. Mustangs with high expectations. It's a different storyline this year for both these programs with the youth. Let's go ahead and check in with Ashton, who's with Lisa.
All right, Coach, that was a very exciting second match. Congratulations on that. Thank you. What do you want to see in this third set in order to clinch this win?
We've got to continue serving aggressively. We definitely had a game plan with our serving, and the kids are executing it completely, so I'm really excited about that.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Lincoln.
And we'll hear from Bakir in a few minutes when we come back. But we step aside here on the American Digital Network. SMU has taken a couple of suspense-filled sets. 1 and 2 go the way of the Mustangs. They'll have a chance for a Sunday sweep when we return to Dallas.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Welcome back. As we imagine, all these fans on their phones certainly are interacting with us during this Facebook broadcast. A few of them are figuring out the rest of their Sunday plans if this turns out to be a quick one in Dallas, although we think there's plenty of fight left in the Owls from what we have seen in these first couple of sets. A great matchup here to begin our ADN coverage. Let's check back in with Ashton as she is joined by Bakir with his thoughts now down 0-2.
Thanks, Lincoln. All right, Coach, tough 2 first sets. What did you talk about in your huddle, and what would you like to see in this third set going forward in the game?
Well, I thought we did a lot of good things, especially in that second set. It's just 1 or 2 points, 1 or 2 unforced errors we made that went, SMU's way. So we just need to focus on not making too many unforced errors, keeping it down. If we do that, we're going to be in that match, and we're going to get our chances.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to you, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ashton and Bakir.
Back to you, Lincoln.
You imagine folks who are tuning in or looking at the score seeing 2-0, they're like, well, SMU's handling this one at home. But no, Temple, they have shown signs of both in the first and second set of competing here. And you look at just the posture there, the attitude. This is not a team that is too concerned. They think they belong.
Well, and they don't look like they're down. I mean, to be quite honest with you, if I was looking at that going, I think they're winning 2-0 right now. But SMU is, and they've been doing a great job. SMU's mentally, I think, been in it a little bit more than Temple, just purely from the standpoint that they came back when they needed to. They had the extra in the tank, if you will. And Temple right now needs to have that for this game for sure.
Well, of course, today we focus on SMU and Temple, but we keep an eye around the conference. And there are certain special individuals we have had the luxury of being able to follow over the years. And one of those, it's hard to avoid the story that is Jordan Thompson. Young woman leading the nation 4 different offensive categories, and certainly a standout for the Bearcats once again this year in Cincinnati. But we look forward to seeing what she can do, and if perhaps this could be the Bearcats' year. But again, Jordan Thompson, one of so many talented individuals in this league. Follow the American on social media, Cincinnati's Volleyball on social media. And a lot of unique opportunities to keep up with Jordan and this club. And I know they're excited about a chance perhaps to make this their year, that perhaps they can knock off Wichita State.
Does it happen to say how tall she is? Because she's looking like she's 6'5".
As she is a hard matchup for any program, regardless of conference in Division I. Underway here in this third set. SMU, you see there, having taken the first 2 frames, including extra points in set number 2. And you mentioned the Owls did not look like a team that was down 0-2. They'll level this one, and still high spirits on the road.
And Papazoglou is blocking on that one. It didn't look like Linden got a great approach on that. Just got caught inside and blocked.
Mustangs will claim this one right back thanks to Nordman. So Nordman will rotate off. And back to Watts, who was able to close out that second set. Watts is on that back row with Adams. And Mustangs able to tap it over. Cross court, don't have the angle, it'll go wide. And it's 3-1 SMU.
And some smart hitting from SMU. A couple tight sets and not really getting, a great hit on the ball. Bumping the ball over, giving SMU another chance at a point.
How good has SMU been since the formation of the American? They are 80-19 in these 5+ years.
I would say that's pretty good.
Again, they've never finished worse than second. Last year tied for second behind newcomer, and I was going to say a shocker, but then I'd have too many people rolling their eyes at home. Wichita State really came in.
Now, did I see something in the preseason rankings that Temple was 3 and SMU was 4?
And that is because it's 2 straight years that SMU has graduated so much leadership. It's the reason why you had that recruiting class of 7 freshmen this year for SMU. So there was some wiggle room in the preseason poll this year. Free ball, Mustangs take advantage. Oh, putting away the mistake with that right hand of Linden.
That's the happy birthday overpass. Thank you very much.
Nobody sends thank you notes anymore. SMU. Well, we have seen the Mustangs with larger leads than this in the earlier sets, but each time we saw a fight in the Owls. Do they have it here in a third set?
And Dayak sure does. She's continuing to hit this slide set like it's no other, and SMU's having problems defending it.
Last point for the Owls, sets up the serve here for Salvador. They go at Salvador, who knew where she was on the court, and that's what you love about the presence of this back row. And example this time for Temple, once you're on that back row, you need to know if that ball's at a certain height, that situation, your shoulder, it's carrying along.
Yeah, you definitely, and that's the thing that I've noticed in a lot of juniors these days. They really don't know their court presence. They don't really know what shot's going to be in, what shot's going to be out. I've got a little girl on my team right now who plays middle back defense. She's all of 5'2" or 3. And when a ball is beaming over her head, she's trying to jump to get it, and that thing's 20 feet out of bounds.
The middle blocker stuck in a libero body.
Yeah, exactly.
But Temple has almost closed this deficit here in set 3. A chance to even us at 5 apiece. Poked over, but Watts is there for SMU. And a bit of good fortune for the Owls to keep this rally going. Adams cannot put it away. Ooh. And Temple will level us at 5 apiece.
Ostu out of the back row for Temple. That put that one down with some authority. No block up, or Marin Kennedy getting up just a little bit late, but boy, what a crush from the back row.
Iramostu had a lot to work with there. Into the block. And a second chance, no ma'am. As they were able to shut down 2 efforts from Ryan Palmieri. So Temple now has turned this one around. It was 4-1 SMU.
Uh-oh, looks like we have an injury in the back row.
Well, we started this broadcast talking about Adams, preseason all-conference in the American, the senior. And she's favoring that left knee.
It's either the knee or the ankle. Not quite sure which one. She's trying to breathe through it, which is good.
Temple takes that point, has made it 7-5, but even more valuable than the point. Let's see if they lose Adams. Another look here, and she just came down funny. Yeah, you mentioned that ankle. Well, that's one fewer veteran for SMU out there. And if you're SMU, you will do everything you can to close this out in 3. You do not want to prolong the opportunity for Temple. You know, someone might say you have the luxury of playing 2 more sets, but
no, you don't want to let Temple in. You want to get this over and done with, and it'll be interesting to see who's coming in, taking her spot, and if they can raise their level of play and everybody kind of rallies around rather than, oh my gosh, you know, one of our best players is out. Oh, we're toast. You know, that's what I like about the college. You should be able to, the college game, you should be able to pop somebody in there and kind of move forward.
Back underway, the Owls again now have established a 2-point advantage and make it 3. Up 8-5 in a must-win set number 3 as Watts goes wide. Salvador continues with her serve. Finds the opposing libero. And a slide, but ultimately SMU ready. Hirakuji with the set. She'll pick up the assist after the kill successful from Oshchu.
And you can really tell right now in these last few points that the injury to Brittany Adams has really affected SMU.
Well, such a valuable contributor on that back row particularly. And SMU finally will pull a point back after that run from Temple. Still early in this 3rd set. We already saw Temple force 5 in Houston and claim the victory at the expense of the Cougars. The Mustangs unable to put 2 points together. So back to Katerina Papazoglu. Just a sophomore, but that still makes her one of the older players on these 2 rosters.
Is that scary? A sophomore is one of the older ones.
And the Mustangs will cut her service short. Trying to lead the troops there, Rachel Wolf, true freshman. Yeah, a signing class of 7 freshmen this year, and really 4 to 5 legitimately factoring into each match so far this season.
Yeah, it looks like Hannah Jacobs is checking in for Brittany Adams for SMU, hitting outside.
Off the block, Hirakuji. Ooh. Access denied up front.
And that was a great block by Kennedy and Wolf on the outside right here. Ostu had no place to go.
Remember Kennedy last year against Cincinnati with a career-high 12 blocks, was just a force up there at the net. She had a few more veterans surrounding her, which can always help free you up, be a little more creative. But that was when she was a redshirt freshman.
Dayoc with another kill on that slide play. SMU still having problems defending it.
And that prevented SMU from tying it up. Instead, SMU now with another opportunity, back within one.
And Hannah Jacobs, that's the kind of play you need from somebody off the bench. Come in right away, put the first ball down, and hard.
Right down the net and off the block and wide. Mustangs can't pull even. Temple up 11-9. As Tyler Lindgren back in to serve. Freshman out of Windsor, Colorado. Just keeps it down the near sideline. And her service will continue 12-9.
Hannah Jacobs just getting underneath that ball. Really wanting to wail on that. It's one of those ones you just got to keep it in play.
Nice job with the serve receive for SMU's Bria Merchant. Well, the Mustangs are going to call a timeout here. They have seen this one slip away. After they took 4 of the first 5 points, Temple on a nice run, and they have reestablished a 4-point lead of their own, 13-9. We'll keep it here on the American Digital Network. As Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson with you, and what a great start in general around the American. Looking into both of the huddles, and we mentioned SMU will do everything they can to close it out. As we have an opportunity during this break to check back in with Ashton.
Hey fans, we're here enjoying the game, and we hope you are too on the American Digital Network Plus. Please continue to comment. Let us know where you're at and what time it is there. Germany? It's probably in the late evening, so we appreciate you joining us to wrap up your evening over there in Germany. What time is it in Hawaii, Nebraska? Let us know. It's just after 1 p.m. here, and we're enjoying some awesome American volleyball. Back to you, Lincoln.
Yeah, thank you, Ashton. That's how dedicated some of these family members are to keep up with their student athletes. It's probably a little more reasonable for those who are over in Europe, as opposed to those who in Honolulu are accustomed to having to wake up a bit earlier than the sun rises.
Just a little bit.
And for Temple, really for a first time today, a look at Peyton Boyd, a 6'3" freshman right side.
A lefty, no doubt.
As right now you're looking at Nordman for SMU. Midway through this third set, SMU has the benefit of taking the first 2 close ones, including extra points in set 2. It's Temple up 14-10 now.
And that slide play for Temple keeps continuing to give SMU trouble. Gunevig putting a deep corner for a point.
Well, and you see where SMU is missing Brittany Adams on that back row. As there's the freshman using that left hand to tap it over. And there will be no return from the Owls.
Linden on the right side here, finding space in between the blocks. She's really rangy, really long arms, good range.
Her own trainer.
I can do this, give me those.
As the pass from Boyd. That right pin, and there's some open hardwood on that back row. Mustangs back within a pair.
Again, Linden on the right side with her great range, this time turning it down the line for a point.
As Boyd will come out off of that front row. Owls make an adjustment here on the serve receive. And Harakuji takes over when there may have been some confusion. And just a misstep, a bad break there for the Owls as Jem Grimshaw appeared to slip up at the net.
You see some of the players, at least the SMU players, they have towels on their back, which is kind of unique. I haven't seen that in a little while. Get the, if they see something on the floor, they can kind of pick it up or wipe off. Well, I guess they're wearing long sleeves, so.
And you'll constantly see between points just trying to wipe any perspiration off the hands. Into the block, and the odds were not in the favor of SMU. They'll run out of real estate on this point. Another missed chance to level us here in Dallas. It's 15-13 now for the Owls.
And you see here, Maddie Pernecki just barely missing getting this ball up.
Carla Gunovic had the previous defensive effort. Mustangs pick up this point now, back within one.
Palmieri on the outside, just having her way with the outside block, one-on-one.
Got it around Grimshaw that time. And that one into the pin. So off the block into the antenna, gives Temple its 16th point now. And here comes the home stretch of set number 3. Free ball for SMU, cannot capitalize. And an error expands the Owls' lead now to 3.
Palmieri with a good look down the line on the outside, just couldn't find the block, just hits it out.
He comes from a fairly young volleyball program still, over there at Vandegrift High School in Austin, Texas. That's the kind of high school, though, that has found a lot of success early on throughout its programs. So Lily Heim back to serve. Again, one of the setters in this 6-2 for SMU. And they just give up too much space on that back row again.
I'd really like to see SMU make an adjustment on this slide. They're just not doing it for some reason, but Temple's just having their heyday, and Deox saying, just keep plugging, keep setting me.
Eva Deoch, one of the players we focused on to start this broadcast. Now they will say no, that one is in on the back row.
But the referee overruled.
Yep.
The referee's overruling it. That's a frustrating thing for players. You know, you've got the.
That's
ooh,
That's in.
That's pretty close. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah. Well, the up official has the final say. You wouldn't mind if you saw a couple thumbs in the air there.
That was a big break for SMU. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
Able to tool it. They're back within one.
Wolf on the right side, using the block out of bounds.
Can Temple hang on to this lead in a must-win third set for the Owls on the road today? And even Harakuji can't keep it going. SMU has finally pulled even at 18, and now here we are in the final stretch of the third set.
Hannah Jacobs on the left side coming in for Brittany Adams, has 3 kills. She's lighting a little bit of a fire right here.
Look there at Hannah Vandegrift. Brittany Adams on the bench for SMU with an ice pack on her ankle, appears done for the day. And an error from Temple, the issues compounding now, and it gives SMU a late lead, 19-18. Montana Watts got to close out the second set with a serve. She's hoping to see her Mustangs with a late run here to close out set 3 for the day. And just a nice attack from Ostju, who really has the dynamics down.
That's one of those plays. Nice little off-speed shot right there by Ostju on the right, on the outside. SMU a little bit slow to play defense on that one.
Dayock certainly has had her presence felt up there at the net today. Now back to serve. Trying to reestablish a lead, and that's an ace. Oh, if it's a 50-50, you've got to play that ball.
Yeah, the old adage is you got to play the close balls. If you're not there on the line and you don't have a good angle on it, you got to play the close ones.
So Owls have reclaimed the lead here. And we are even 20-20. SMU had the answer thanks to Hannah Jacobs. Jacobs out of New Braunfels, Texas. That's between Austin and San Antonio. And I believe that's the only high school in America where the mascot is the unicorn.
The unicorn, yes.
What a
great dig.
Stands her ground to keep this point alive and available for the Owls. But SMU has had an answer as well. And a violation on the Mustangs makes it 21-20 Temple in a must-win third set. Brittany Adams just a spectator the rest of the way. Went down with an awkward plant of her left foot while on the back row earlier. And that time everybody just closed their eyes and hoped they got under that ball for a dig, but no such luck after Hannah Jacobs delivers the fastball.
And Hannah Jacobs is doing a great job off the bench. Her fifth kill already.
Well, for those, again, tuning in late, seeing SMU up 2-0, this is the way these sets have been. SMU has just had the breaks the first two frames. Well, all of a sudden, taking things over is Jacobs, one of our 7 freshmen for SMU. She had 21 kills last Friday in a non-conference matchup. She can score at a high level, make up for a variety of things simply with that strength and talent she has. As the Owls understandably now will call a timeout here. SMU will talk things over as well. Well, what I will be interested to see is continuing to follow these two programs throughout conference play and see how they continue to make strides regardless of the outcome of this match. They each picked up victories on Friday to build some confidence for these younger players, but both of them just great body language, both huddles right now. And that has to make the season all the more exciting in the minds of their head coaches. This is beginning our fall sports coverage on the American Digital Network here for 2018. Great place to start here in Dallas, where SMU has been such a success story in American volleyball. We'll have a couple of trips. Women's soccer, men's soccer, volleyball on the horizon, heading to Stores, Tampa, back here at Dallas, where the defending regular season and tournament champion men's soccer program will look to continue to defend its title here in Dallas. And we'll get to go up there to one of the newest homes of American volleyball up in Wichita, Kansas. 23-21, the Mustangs with the point out of the timeout.
And that's the kind of serve you like to see after a timeout.
Don't want to overlook, we will also have the American men's and women's cross-country championships streaming on the American Digital Network as well later on this year. And off the block, Temple back within 1, 23-22.
Gunevig hitting the slide once again. Jacobs just not getting over the ball, tooled out of bounds.
Well, it was the Owls who had the first crack at set point in set 2. Not the case here. Mustangs set point means match point. And appropriately, after this timeout, we will see Hannah Jacobs with a chance to close it out. This the most recent point.
And Hannah just going up a real cut shot there, if you will, with some power to get that over the net for her 7th point, her 7th kill in this game alone.
What is on the line? Both these teams victorious on Friday at the top of the standings in the American at 1-0 early in this conference slate, as they will be among the few to start off 2-0 if they can get a win today. Right now, UCF, you see Cincinnati, Tulsa, Wichita State. No surprise, victorious back on Friday, but these two squads, Temple and SMU, right there in the hunt as well, despite a learning curve in non-conference play.
Well, and that's where you got to get the learning done. Early season, as both coaches said, they had a pretty tough schedule this year, and sometimes, and that's kind of how I like to play with my club teams that I coach. Make the kids better. I mean, this is not that part of the season is really nothing. It's only getting you better for the end of the end of the season. So kudos to them for making a tough schedule
and trying to boost the RPI along the way if they could find some success. Again, this year, just like the first 5, the American automatic bid of the NCAA tournament will go to the regular season champion. That will change next year when the conference tournament comes around. Match point for SMU. They'll have a couple cracks at it. Third touch here gets over. You need composure now more than ever for Temple. And SMU will put it away. It's a weekend sweep here at home to open conference 2-0. Some early success for the newest members in the American. A huge freshman class for SMU. And they will take this one in 3.
Great game. Just great mentally to keep SMU keep themselves in that game after that injury to Brittany Adams.
You feel for Temple that they don't have more to show for the effort that they had today on the road after their comeback against Houston that went 5 in Houston, and as close as they were here today.
And sometimes I think the coach needs to look at that as a 50-50, it's a 50-50, win one, lose one. That's a positive. So hopefully he can take some positive out of this and go forward.
And what a great crowd on hand. A record crowd to watch SMU try to continue to contend for another title. That, though, will be one of your headlines. Brittany Adams, not sure how long she'll be out. Let's step aside. When we come back, Ashton will be with the victorious head coach and one of our top players in this match. So many key individuals to choose from in this win for the Mustangs.
In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power 6 conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that prove we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power 6 conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination. More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Mustangs victorious, and a little post-game celebration, and that celebration includes another chance for us to hear from Lisa and Ashton.
All right, Coach, congratulations. That was a tough one. I can see the look on your face right now. Talk to me about what happened in that last set.
Well, it started when Brittany Adams, number 24, went down in the back row. So we were kind of scrambling with, you know, how to patch that up and help her out. Hannah Jacobs, number 10, came in and did a fabulous job. Got a couple huge kills that I don't think Temple was prepared for. You know, Eva Linden had a great night. Everybody did their job and stepped up and finished it.
Do you have a status? I know she's one of your seniors. Is she doing all right? Will we see her in the next game?
Eva Linden?
No.
Oh, Brittany. I don't know.
Brittany,
I don't know at this point. I know she has got an ankle sprain. I hope it's just a sprain, and I hope we see her next Wednesday, but I'll leave that up to the trainers and the doctors. It's hard to say.
All right, thank you so much, Coach, and congratulations. You can take a sigh of relief now.
I'm going to. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay, we're getting set up.
Okay.
And we'll send it now right back to Ashton. She's with Eva Linden.
All right, thanks, Lincoln. I'm here with Eva. She's our game MVP, senior on the team. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Talk to me about this game. It was a little stressful, but you pulled out the victory.
Yeah, it was stressful. I think we honestly just executed. Like, we've had like a pretty hard preseason. We've like had to figure out a bunch of stuff. We've had a lot of new freshmen, but today we just like came out and executed, and we got it done. And we had freshmen step up when our seniors got injured. It was really cool to watch.
Absolutely. I know that makes you proud as a senior. I heard that you have a cousin on the opposing team, plays for the Owls. How was that playing against your cousin?
That was so much fun. We have a bunch of family here. My grandma and a bunch of my aunts, and they all came to watch. Yeah, my cousin, she's a setter on the other team, so.
Perfect. So a little family rivalry.
Yes.
All in good fun, though, right?
Yes.
Thanks so much, Eva, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Back to you, Lincoln.
Yeah, thank you, Ashton. Tyler Lindgren is the setter. They're talking about the freshman. This was a rare opportunity with one being a senior, the other being a freshman, that they'd be on the same court at the same time. So, again, a lot of good news for SMU. They start off 2-0 to start conference play. You say Brittany Adams, though, will be the question mark that will loom over some of these celebration here today. But, Adam, a 3-set victory for SMU. They make quick work of what is otherwise a challenging matchup against Temple.
Well, and again, you know, you go back to the injury, and you could see how it really affected SMU. They gave up a bunch of points. The one thing that was great to see is the freshman Hannah Jacobs came in, stepped in to play for Brittany Adams. Everybody rallied around, and they came out with a victory, and that's what you really want to see.
Mustangs have now played 100 matches in the American, and they have won 81 of those so far. The dominance continues, as does a quest for a title in the American. Look forward to keeping our coverage going this fall here on ADN.